last time you guys finished a huge battle inside of the barracks of sorts that was there, ended up burning the fucking place to the ground, basically.
That'll teach
As
him.
you guys, as you guys ran off into about 200 yards or so off into the distance into a clearing, you were greeted by a dark angelic form of sorts. It turns out that Ket knew who this entity was, but it turned out to be more of a shell than this person that she thought it was. As the shell collapsed to the ground, Romex appeared, and right, and Romex and Vilgax had an epic battle one-on-one as you all sat on the sideline and cheered. Right.
I don't know if I should thank you guys for that or be like, what the fuck, team?
It was great. I loved it. As the battle ensued back and forth, the final blow was given by Vilgax as he did his what's it called? The awesome teleportation move where he basically put him way up in the air and you guys both fell into the ground. Traumatic teleportation into the ground, making a 4-foot giant crater that you are currently laying in, Vilgax. As that happened, you were transported to Astra's realm, where she explained a bunch of different things to you, how things were going. Right? We do love craters. And essentially, what ended up happening is Vilgax and Romex became one again, as they were to begin with. And before Astra helped you sew up the time, the rips between the material plane and the astral plane. I did forget to say this last time, so I'm going to say it this time, Vilgax.
All right.
As you merged with Romex, and right before you flew through the material planes and sewing up those rips, she explains to you that now your adventure starts anew. You are now the protector of these books and our special form of teleportation magic. Certainly now with how well you have grown and how strong you've become, the word has gotten out that there is a powerful teleportation warlock like no one's ever seen. There will be others that will want this magic and to take you down.
That's not ideal.
Protect it with
now I'm the fucking Highlander. God damn it.
Lucky you can look like anybody, huh?
Yeah, right. As if these powers were to get out again and on into somebody maybe a little more stronger and not tied to you like Romex was, it could ruin the very fabric of our current path.
Oh, multiverse is falling apart.
All right, now it's time to bring America Chavez in.
With that, she rips you through time, seemingly sewing up the rips that Romex created so that the astral plane monsters that came through that you saw seemingly can't come through anymore. And you wake up, looking up about 4 feet is your party members staring down at you.
Grim walks up to the edge of the crater and says, "Are you going to lay down all day?"
And I'll sit up, like, holding my head. You know, you guys could have pitched in a little bit more there.
I did a thing or two.
But I don't know how much of that you saw, but Romex is gone for good, I think.
Did you put him in the can, you're saying?
We shouldn't be having any other visitors from the ethereal plane that shouldn't be here. I think we've taken care of that as well.
While you were taking care of that, did you find my years?
Sorry, old Grim. Pats him on the shoulder as I get up and start dusting myself off the dirt and everything that's covered all my clothing and armor.
Would you like to crawl out of the crater?
Yeah, I'm gonna walk / like scramble up out of here. And just
Do
like,
you want to do anything before he gets out of the crater? All right. Vilgax, you seemingly, it's only about 4 foot down. You're pretty tall, if I remember correctly. So you're able to kind of, even in your sullen, like you're pretty beat up. You're able to grip onto the edge of the crater. You do slip a couple times. You guys kind of like look at him like, is he gonna make it or not? But you do end up getting up on top of the crater.
so I'm gonna.
I slow clap as he comes out, and then I look at who's the closest person next to me.
Me.
Would be Ket or Grim. Oops.
Graham. Okay. I kind of look over at I basically the rest of the party, and I go, as I'm like clapping, remember when you thought that was me?
Well, whose fault is that?
And Vilgax is gonna look at the rest of y'all and go, "Can you keep it down? I've got a splitting headache. I think, it's been a long day. I think we should find a place to take a nap. I'm pretty spent."
I've been napping in that hole the past few minutes.
Yeah, and then once he says that, I want to push Grim in the crater.
Give me an opposing strength check. Grim with disadvantage because you don't believe you don't know that he's shoving you in.
Oh, I don't think strength is one of my good ones. All right, I don't even have my dice roller up. Here we go.
Just for funsies.
I got a 14.
Ooh. Ooh.
So with
Grim, you're
disadvantage,
laughing.
I
Yeah,
roll
you're laughing.
a-
Yeah, you did. So
Nice.
I die. Am I dead now?
No. So, funny enough, Vilgax, as Grim, you kind of like making fun of him a little bit. You're laughing and chuckling, your eyes closed for a split second, and Vilgax, with the last little bit of strength that he had left after slamming himself into the ground, just gives you a nice big shove as you fall down into the crater, do a little somersault, back standing up. Now you're in a 4-foot crater.
And then Vilgax is just gonna look over my shoulder and go, "Hey, I saved a spot for you."
I create an echo, swap places with it right over here, and
Perfect.
just get in his face and spit my acid breath on his shoes.
All right, do that. Does that do damage? Do you want to do damage? Do you just want to give him wet with some acid?
I just want to get his shoe a little dissolved.
All right, your shoe is partly dissolved on the big toe. Now your big toe is sticking out. I love you guys so much. With that, Ket turns around and kind of looks at all you with a very sullen face. I'm going to go look at this ash pile over here. Oops. Wrong thing. She turns around, leaving you guys there. There's an ash pile of ash and soot that doesn't quite look the same as the ground was, where that angelic figure was sitting.
I'm gonna look at Vilgax and look at his shoe, and then be like, "You can change out of that, right?" And then just go over to the ash pile.
As Kat gets down, she gets down on her knees and starts like kind of spreading the ash around. And underneath the ash, she pulls out a white piece of fabric that was inside the ash.
Where she's bent over, I'm gonna strategically place myself in front of her, and I'm just gonna put my hands on my hips, and I'm gonna thrust forward my pelvis slightly, and I'm gonna cock my head to the side. I'm gonna say, "What you got there?"
She looks up at you and starts with a few tears and says, "I think this means that they're still alive."
Grim walks
You-
up and says, "Who's still alive?"
My friends, see this is a white hood, and see it's inscribed right here in purple with the name Cash. And then
Oh, go
on the
ahead.
other corners are a few other names inscribed on the hood. One being Illyria, as she pronounces. One being Svartal, as she announces. And the other being Steve.
And Vilgax is just gonna look up and like now like I've retained at least my facial composure and everything. And I'm back to female pirate form. I'm just gonna look over at Ketten as I'm still like cleaning off my stuff and shaking my head. Go, honey, I've seen a lot of hit lists in my day. Why do you think that means they're alive when we're standing next to a pile of ash?
This was always the symbol that Cash carried around and left in places to let us know that he was either there, like gonna be back, gonna be there. Now, is it possible that this was some? It's not. Yeah, of course. But I'm gonna believe that the divine power is telling us that I think they're still alive.
Sometimes, Vilgax, you have to believe in the heart of the cards.
I don't know
Although
what
I'm
you're
not,
talking about, but my head hurts.
although I'm not sure what this ash pile that and why he turned to ash if he was still alive.
Well, angels do fall.
He was a fallen angel.
Oh. Well, well, the ash, that makes sense. That tracks, I think. Yeah, right? Anybody?
Can I try doing like an arcana check on the ash to see if it feels magical or like real?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Do that.
Alright. So, magic check on the ash. Oh, wait, I can do this in beyond 20 now, can't I? Wow, that was bad. Natural one.
Oof,
I don't
da.
like how beyond 20 doesn't show it unless you scroll over it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It doesn't, does
It
it?
shows up red though.
It does.
I
It
can do one
looks
of those.
like a solid pile of ash to you, but yeah, you've seen fires and stuff, ash before. It's ash.
Alright, I got nothing. I'm not going to contribute.
25 Arcana bullshit. Yeah, so you pick up this ash, and in your well-traveled period of times and all this shit, it has a weird consistency, not necessarily like human ash or somebody that, and it's cum. It certainly has magic essence that's tied to it.
Magical essence.
It doesn't seem like it was just a person turned to ash. To you, Ron.
Well, if I know anything about ash, this isn't it. So.
Bet you won't throw it in a potion and drink it.
I scoop some into a vial.
You do so.
And then I cork it and I put it in my pocket. I'm like, bet.
Love that. Love that.
So, yes, very speculative about this pile of ash. For right now, for us, the only place we know of relatively close, just entirely as far as we can tell, burned to the ground. Maybe we should be concerned right now about finding a place for us to be for the day. We can't help anybody else if we're half dead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just to set up where you guys are, you are about 200 yards away from the area that you were, kind of down a hill. So currently you don't have any sight on the Burnton Hill, but you're about 200 yards west or so of where you guys were and where the building burned down.
Do we
In
still
a
see it?
open in an open clearing. Sorry, in an open clearing. Not much else around. What was that?
Do we still see like massive smoke and fire and stuff coming from the camp there?
As you all turn around, as Vilgax points in the direction of, this is the place where we last knew, the smoke that followed you to this area that you could see from yards has dissipated and is gone.
So do we want to see if there's enough of the military encampment left to try to use that for shelter when we camp, and then potentially loot it when we get up? Or do we want to do like some hidden location nearby in a forest? Because I think camping in the open, it's not really that smart on an island that we're unfamiliar with.
I mean, now that we're not under immediate threat, we could go back to the camp, do a better scout, and see if there are any survivors. I mean, we didn't see anybody, but we were also otherwise engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And remember, Romex shot those fireballs off.
Yes, Romex.
That's the story.
Perfect. As you collect the ash in your vial and discuss where you guys would like to sleep tonight, it is about early evening at this point. You guys, what it looks like, it's hard to tell because where you currently are at is still very dark and blighted, like it was before when you guys were walking here.
I have dark vision.
Perfect. Cool. Thanks. You see gray. As you guys are walking towards the path that took you out here. Also, no suspects, Grim. Sorry, I read that. Nothing else is around besides you guys. You guys take about 10, 15, 20 minutes slowly walking back as Vilgax is limping, not as very fast as you guys, towards the area where the barracks was. And as you guys walk, you start to notice the dark, blighted areas that followed you are turning back into what it normally looked like when you first got here.
Mm. As we're
I don't
walking
know.
back,
Do I have enough passive perception to notice that?
That's a very actually good question. You actually might not.
Grim's tunnel vision.
Everybody else sees that the area around you is turning back to normal but Grim is steadfast, eyes ahead.
so as we're walking back, I'm gonna like walk by Vilgax for a couple seconds and not say anything at first, and then I'm just gonna look at him and be like, "So, Romex, huh?"
Yeah, it was a hell of a day, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, how did you handle that?
So when like twins are in the womb, sometimes one eats the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
So you're a baby and you absorbed another baby?
Baby, I can be anything I want to be.
Where did
All right, you
this
big
other
fucking
baby
baby.
come
Quit your
from?
limping and let's get moving.
That I don't know. But
Oh.
the one thing I am very sure of at this moment is that there shouldn't be any more issues with Romex or with just ethereal plane rips for now.
Mm-hmm.
Aster and I think, have taken care of that part. So now we can focus on other things.
I'd like to do either like a medicine check or an arcana check on Vilgax.
Okay. What are you trying to find out?
I'm trying to find out what like if he's like different in any way or Like,
Oh, you think
'cause
I'm possessed?
I'm suspicious.
Yeah, give me an Arcana
Okay. I have really good Arcana. That's 22.
with a 22. Vilgax, do you allow him to take your hand? First off, I guess I should say.
Well, are
As
you
he
gonna
reaches
say
out to grab
anything,
it.
or are you just reaching out to me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as that happens, I'll reach out, like I'll change into Rom, and just stick my hand out and be. If you want to check me out, go ahead. You just be checking out yourself, and then I'll change back into female pirate form and stick my hand out.
Perfect. So with a 22, as you grab his hand, you're a strong enough sorcerer, correct? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, sure.
Or whatever you are. Magic user. You're a strong enough magic user to. Oh yeah. As you grab his hand and you use your little incantation to try and check your Arcana, your special magic, Vilgax is certainly Vilgax, but he's a little more full. If I
More full of
recall,
shit.
you checked him out a little bit before you got there when you first came with the party, and there was always something seemingly missing when you did that. Even from afar, you could tell. Now, he seems a little bit more whole. But it's more right down the middle. It's not good or evil.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna go satisfied and take my hand back and keep walking.
As he walks like ahead of me in his slow, gimpy self, I'm gonna take out my notebook. I'm gonna write some notes.
Perfect.
Then Vilgax is just gonna keep walking towards this camp because, like, Vilgax has had enough of the day. Like, at this point, and just be like, next time you take my hand, you better be trying to put a ring on it.
As you guys walk up the path that you guys kind of formed yourself back up, and most of you are noticing some changes around you. But you guys are still tired from the battle before. Um, uh, you get up.
Was it by a man who said, "I'll be back"?
I'll be back. You get up to the top of the hill that you had climbed down before, and to your surprise, there is a fully built, functional barracks where it was burned down before.
Would you call it fully erect?
Fully erect.
It's a fully erect fortress.
I prepare a fireball.
Have we named this encampment yet? Should we call it Fort Sildenafil?
You can call it whatever you want.
So, as that comes up, and then I don't see like smoke or fire or anything else anymore, I'm gonna like very intently just look at this place with like my true sight and just go be kind of looking around and go to the party, just like kind of throw my hand up and be like, wait a minute, you all saw this place burn to the ground too, right?
I'm actively holding a fireball, so
As Grimmelberg hasn't even been noticing the changes around us, like it's no longer dark or something. He's just like, nah, I think the fire just went out. It probably wasn't as bad as we thought.
But there is no sign of fire. Not that the fire went out. Half of this place is crumbling and falling apart. Look.
yeah, Romex really did a number on this building.
Yeah, and one of the big guys somehow teleported inside of a wall and collapsed a lot of it.
Mm.
It was weird.
Can I hear like people or creatures or anything?
all you hear around you is like what you kind of hear in this current music is a little
Mhm.
bit of wind brushing on some trees, a few animals here and there, birds, zero voices, very tranquil as you guys walk up towards the barracks.
So I go to the front of the barracks
I'm gonna use
and
my healer healing kit on me.
Okay.
What's going on?
and I start to prepare a new spell that I have learned.
Ooh, another one.
Another
Wow, we've
Yeah.
had a
one.
lot of ones today.
Another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Perfect. You prepare that spell.
I
You're
don't
standing at the
cast it.
door.
I'm
Right.
preparing.
You're
Mhm.
standing at the front door, preparing your spell. What else are you doing?
I'm gonna knock on the door.
So you put out your fireball to start doing another thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to shoot a fireball at my shield? I can absorb it and have my own fireball.
As to it, I had to put it away.
You knock on
Grim's
the
just
door.
like, I never get to use my shield.
And as like you knock on the door, I'm gonna move like away from the rest of the party and go, well, I thought we were just going to try and sneak up to this and get a view, but I guess we had other plans. And I'm just gonna
Grim just
step out
walks
of the
in like he
way.
owns the place.
You say you're walking in. You're going to go through the front door.
Grim just walks in like he owns the place.
Perfect. So as you push Ram out of the way a little bit as he's standing in front of the door, and you walk straight in, the door flies open, unlocked, and your immediate entry is currently empty.
And it looks 0% burned.
It looks 0% burned.
I'm gonna do
Grim's
that
just
anime
like,
thing.
yeah, you guys are right. Something weird is going on here.
I'm gonna do that anime thing where like the one character pokes his head over by the doorway to like get a sneak peek and look at the other character that busted in. And I'm just gonna look at Grim and be like, why don't you try hitting a little bit further?
And Vilgax wants to try and go into sneak mode.
Sneak mode.
I'm
Yeah.
going to cast my Echo forward and then use that to kind of check things a bit.
Perfect. So as you send your echo out, again, later in the evening or so, you let it walk up. You check the. Here, let me just bring up a map. I don't have your characters on it yet, but. You walk into the front door and you send your echo out. A big wide open space for the most part. Nothing there. Your echo is currently.
And this is the front door here. Just
Yes.
be sure.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, they changed the ping. Look how slow that is now.
Oh, yeah. Geo.
Everybody must try ping.
So
I do
as
Japan.
let's say you're walking in, your echo is here. You guys are all kind of standing at the front door still. Your echo is about halfway through the open room. Doesn't report anything to you, Grim. Everything looks empty. Doors are shut. There's no open rooms or anything. Yeah.
And I just like turn around, like does if as long as Grim tells me what's happening in there and it looks empty, I'm gonna turn
Grim just
around.
says out loud, seems abandoned and not burned.
I'm
Super
gonna turn around
confused.
and look at the foliage. I'm assuming Vilgax is somewhere in there, and I'm gonna yell. Um, I'm not sure where you be at right now, but could you check another plane of sorts to see if there's other people there? This place is empty.
So I'm gonna try and sneak up to either the door or a vantage point if I can find one to look
Easy enough
into
to do.
here and use my true sight to look into the ethereal plane and see if I notice anything there.
Yeah. No. abandoned, empty, here, where you guys are currently all standing.
And
Maybe they went on vacation.
Home Alone. There's just gonna be one kid, Kevin McAllister, with a bunch of paint cans. Merry Christmas episode, everybody.
Well, as long as you said that, along with as that happens and you check
Oh,
into
no.
the true site, I already actually had this plan. So, you hear a creak, a door open from somewhere. You can't tell from where.
But from inside, though, definitely.
From inside, definitely.
But Grim is going to follow up to about here, and his echo is going to go through this door.
Perfect.
We're going to go check out this thing that looks like maybe a kitchen.
Yeah. Let me grab everybody. We'll throw you guys on a map for funsies. If you guys healed it all, you'll have to update your token here, Vilgax.
Oh, it's already updated. Nifty.
Sweet. Oops, I accidentally grabbed the ash.
The Ash is on the team now.
It's true. As you guys are all in here and you go check, you guys are all watching intently as Echo and Grim kind of go check this kitchen area. And as you open the door to the kitchen, there is a small little goblin making food. And as the door opens, he turns around and says, "Ah, patrons! Are you hungry? Wait,
Depends, what you making?
wait,
Also, isn't this a military encampment?
wait a minute. Are you the group that left months ago?
You mean this morning?
Where have you been?"
I went to the beach for a day. Didn't go very well. The sun really ate me.
Perfect. Well, you can read, right?
Of course.
Well, this is a note from the general that you guys were supposed to come back, and you've been gone a very long time.
I disagree. I was only at the beach for a day. And it aged me a lot.
So he hands you a
Terrible.
note. He hands you a note.
So I read it.
And you read it and says, "Did you guys ever come up with a name? I totally forgot." No? Okay. So it says, "To the misfits who came in speaking to us, encampment, and we let you in, yada, yada, yada." Kind of goes over some of the things you guys talked about and you're looking for. "We expected you back the next day, but we can no longer wait for you here. We must travel. We have left our Chef Roz to hopefully give this to you someday." And it's dated, like at the top, about 2 months ago.
So as that's going on in there, I'm just gonna keep watch on these other doorways and stuff, like in over here. Make sure like nobody's popping out here.
You do so.
Kind of back up against this wall a bit.
You certainly do so. So,
Hurlberg is too dumb to understand that potentially more time than he has perceived has passed, so he thinks this goblin is a liar.
I'm sorry, Master. And he pulls out this other note. It's like got drawings on it. Definitely terribly drawn, and you can kind of like see it like through the backside. And it looks kind of like a picture of you, Grim, and he's kind of looking at it. And he's like, "Yeah, Master Grim, sorry, but it's true." And he kind of like rolls it up.
Rom, you walked in there, you doing nothing?
What are you making here? Is this poisoned?
No, actually, I was just making myself some steak-ish. or it's more like a gruel with steak in it. And the steak is kind of actually like not steak, but I like to call it steak.
Would you call it a mistake?
I think it's actually pretty good. Already cooked.
Bert gives it a sniff.
It actually smells decent. Like it kind of smells like a bland soup, but like there's still like meat chunks kind of like floating in it. And he like takes some pepper and salt. He's like, actually, I was just seasoning it, and I was almost done. I did make a lot. If you guys would like some, otherwise I was going to freeze it.
So at this
I'll eat
point,
the human steak.
it's
What's
been
that?
it's been a couple minutes, so Vilgax is just gonna like holler in loud enough and be like, "Rom, Grim, what's going on in there?"
There's a
Romex
goblin trying to
and
tell me
Vilgax.
it's been 2 months since we left.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
He's cooking something. I'm suspicious of him. Come magic him.
What?
And he pulls out his paper again. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's right, Master Grimm. I'm just giving you a message from Officer Vincent.
Well, this seems
we
like a
thought you
good
guys-
trap, but let's go.
You guys, we thought you had left, and to be honest, I really didn't want to travel with the party, and I kind of stay here and perfect my food making for when they ever come back. And if not, then I have a whole barracks to myself." Right.
Well, Master Chef Goblin, why would an entire battalion leave their own war camp? What was so pressing?
Oh, that's right. You guys probably never heard or don't know where the hell you guys were, but there was, I don't know, maybe around when you guys left, some weird light flashing areas kind of everywhere around the barracks and off into the distance, and our scouts went out to look and nothing was there. And then our cleric prayed to his god, Ayun. I don't know if you know who she is.
I'm familiar with that person. Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, do you know about the battle that is supposedly going on in another realm in the heavens?
Yeah. Yes, I've heard rumors of that.
Well, it sounds like they're losing that battle.
Dang, did Roll20 do an update?
Must
It's like, Rux and Yoder, you guys' mics are loud today. I gotta actually turn you down.
Oh,
Oh. However, so some of our battalion went to a monastery. To be honest with you, I have no idea where it is, but that's what they said they were going. To pray and hope that things would be all right. Another part of our battalion went off to scout. God, what are they called again? They're over off into the east.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, no.
Wizard boys?
I think they. Does anybody have a map?
are you referring to the college?
No. To the east, off the water, like down. You go down where you guys actually went. You guys said you went down to the beach, and it's the place that's off in the distance over there.
I pull out my map,
And as you pull it out,
but I don't show anybody else my map
Oh.
besides the Goblin King.
perfect. And he looks at it and goes, "Oh yeah, this over here." And he points at
okay. Mm-hmm.
the. Do you have it labeled, or is it just an island on yours?
Me?
Yep.
I have it labeled.
Perfect. Ah, yes. The Fallen. Wait, why do you have the Forbidden? Wait,
One at a time.
whatever. This area, supposedly these people were coming and
Uh-huh.
wanted,
Uh-huh.
so they have to go. We basically left this camp, and they were potentially
Oh.
going to go to the other camp
The other camp.
that we
And
have.
that's right here, and I point to a spot.
And he says, "Well, so you see where we are, right?" And he points where we are currently.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, we have a nice little camp all the way down south." And he kind of almost like points in the water where that peninsula is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of tucked back in the middle of nowhere on the shore. Kind of like this
Okay.
one, but it's way down there. But you see
I see.
But you see the in-between area?
Mm-hmm.
I'm told there's a jungle there.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Oh, okay. You've been there.
A lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
Oh. So that's where supposedly another part of our battalion were going, because they didn't want those people to, or things,
So
whatever
was
they
the
are.
part of the battalion that was going to the forest, were they going to the shrine to go pray or whatever?
There's a shrine over there.
Sure.
They said there was a monastery somewhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the
It-
thing. That's what I was talking.
It
That's what I meant.
might be that. I'm not.
So that's
I'm
what
not sure.
that's what they're doing. They're praying at the monastery.
Yeah.
Oh my God, do I pray?
This still doesn't make any sense. Why would they completely abandon the camp without even posting any guards or locking the gate? Just leave this chef.
It's possible they have more pressing matters elsewhere. You know.
Oh,
With
I can. Like, the front door wasn't locked because Roz forgot to lock the front door, but every other door is locked. Even go check the back. And there was another note for you, but I misplaced it.
So
in the camp.
Yeah, it's here
You
somewhere.
failed your duty
Once-
as you misplaced one of my important missives.
once the goblin says that, Vilgax's gonna walk back out of this room, go up and ask Ket to help, and we are gonna freaking lock this big ass front gate.
Yes, certainly. You guys should definitely goes and helps, and she locks the front gate with you. The front gate is locked. All their doors, as you guys check, are locked. This little goblin kind of leaves the kitchen as the soup is still like simmering and hot, and goes and like runs into, god darn it, runs into like a different room and searching. You can clearly see he's searching for something. Is there anything else you would like to do in this outpost right now?
Grim just looks in the what looks like a pantry here to see if there's anything we can loot, because I'm not sure if I trust this goblin's cooking.
There's definitely some breads and cracker-like things and snacks, if you will.
Yeah, I grab what I can.
I'm gonna go up to Yoder and I'm gonna
Sorry, what about the lizard boys, Vilgax? What'd you need?
It's just a random thought.
Oh, gotcha.
Lizard boys, haha.
So, Roz comes out of a back room, like from the front of the house, and he runs back into the kitchen, and then you guys are all still standing there, and Grim, you're raiding his pantry, and he says, hey, if you just wanted something, you just had to ask. Proceed. You guys are clearly hungry. You guys look like shit. That's why I offered you food. You don't like this one over there. He doesn't ask. Anyway, I found the other note. Who would like to read it?
Oh, Viggy.
Grim walks up and grabs it out of his hand.
Okay, go for it.
Like, tries to hand it to Yoder because he looks like the most trustworthy. Grim just snatches it out of his hand. And Grim starts to read Party of Misfits. This is note number 2. And it's dated about like 3 months ago or so. It's like a first one you're reading in opposite order, or so it seems. There's just brief mention of Merfolk off for the south. There's mention of a holy war happening It mentions Ayun in there. It mentions a splitting of the battalion here soon, telling you exactly what Raz is saying, for the most part. If you guys do come back before we leave, you're more than welcome to join. However, this note should be sufficient.
Does it give us a clue as to where to go if we wanted to meet back up with the army?
It just says the other outpost. It says some of us are going to a monastery to pray and help. And that's about it. It's really like a not very well written note whatsoever.
Well, Grim says, best I can make out is they split into two groups, and one of them went to pray.
Well,
He says with disdain.
what I think we should perhaps do for today, being it's getting on towards evening, is ask Master Chef if it's alright if we post up here, clear the barracks first, and then just bed down for the night. Rest up, eat up, be ready to go 100%.
And Raz says, yeah, absolutely. Were you guys hungry? You guys can certainly have some of my soup gruel surprise.
I was on board until he said surprise.
Oh, no, I promise. It's
Grim
really
just
good.
looks at it with kind of a grimace and just walks away with the bread that he got from the pantry.
Oh, okay. Does anybody want to try this? I promise. It's really good.
I'll have some. I'll
Perfect.
do it.
So he scoops you up bowls, and you guys take it. He's like, just please try it. I want you to try it. And you try it. And even though it looks bland as hell and looks like shit, it's actually really good and tastes a nice tender steak. Nicely seasoned, basically like a steak soup, if you will. Kind of like, so it'd be like baked potato soup if you ever had that, but the ham is steak. It's actually really good.
All right, so I'll just say, well, thank you for this, Master Goblin, and then I'll go like sit at a table and proceed to mow down on food.
Yeah, and you do so. And he says certainly, and he kind of is staying in the kitchen to wash dishes and whatnot.
Such hostility.
I know, just a little goblin boy, little goblin dude.
Grim's like, nah, this whole camp's being gone and back and not burned isn't weird. But this fucking goblin's sus as fuck.
You guys eat, do your thing. You guys check the barracks one more time to make sure anything is there, and there's not. Still kind of eerily empty since the last time you were here, and nothing seems to be burned. And
no loot or weapons or anything we could perhaps find. Might be nice.
It's pretty much been cleared out as you guys are walking through and looking. The only room you see that has anything in is this little room over here behind the kitchen that has goblin clothes and stuff in it and whatnot, which is also coincidentally the pantry that Grim was in.
I want to look for a pair of shoes.
You find a pair of like leather slippers kind of tucked in the like pantry, as you ask Raz and says, do you have any? He says, oh yeah, I have the thing, and it mostly covers your feet, like the front part of your feet, like your toes, like half your foot maybe. It's like a half sock, if you will. And he's like, oh, I could sew it onto your current hole-filled boot if that would help.
Yeah, that'd be great. Somehow these just started falling apart.
Oh,
And then I'll look over at no one in particular.
I'm not in the room. You can't look at me. Fuck you.
And he does that. You take your boots, and he'll do it after he cleans the kitchen up, and they'll be ready for you in the morning. And wait, where the hell did? Oh yeah. And Kat comes in and grabs a bowl of soup and sits down next to Ram and Rom,
Hmm.
do you know what happened here? Vilgax, do you know what happened here? We saw this building burn to the ground. We nearly died.
This part doesn't make any sense to me. I'm mulling it over, trying to put the pieces together. I don't know.
The notes Grim left out loud said we were gone for 2 months, but 2, 3 months,
know,
whatever it was. Like, what is?
I blame Romex. 2 months is a long time, and somebody's got some weird fishy powers. So
Well, here's the thing. Romex didn't have that kind of juice, right? He had access to the ethereal plane, but not to time itself. But when we met Cthulhu Daddy, his brother seems like the kind of bitch that could do something like that, maybe.
I mean,
And they were having their brotherly pissing contest.
we've encountered so many deities at this point. You know, it's hard to blame one or the other. Okay.
Well, that's the
So,
only one so far that we've heard is actively gunning for us.
is he? Is he?
Are we not believing what your Cthulhu Tentacle Daddy says now?
I don't believe anything anybody says, honestly. God, not a god. You could always kill him. You know, nothing stays alive forever. So the fact that there's all these bullshit deities running around going, "Oh, I'm gonna end the world," like, okay, good for you.
I'm gonna lean into Ram and go, so I heard about this guy, Kratos. He's pretty good at taking on gods.
I've heard of him.
Is he related to Gore?
As you guys sit around the table and have your banter about gods and weird shit, evening comes to be a little later as you guys are trying to wrap your minds around what the hell is going on here.
I mean, time magic is time magic. It happens. I lost a whole year once.
Ket
It
looks
was a
at you
big
and
deal.
says, "You encountered this before?"
Sure, lots of people can do it.
Rom, time surfer.
Hey, yeah, time cop.
Huh. Have
That's the
I
only reason.
encountered this before?
I'm
How
gonna
the
do an
fuck would
arcane.
we know? Grim says out
Are you
loud.
back in the
Let's see if
room?
I
Guys know he was eavesdropping on the whole conversation.
I'm gonna do an arcana check to see if I can have any sense of chronomancy on her ass.
Sure.
Oof. I got a 17.
17.
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar with Ron. Actually, Peter, mostly.
Mm.
Tell me about... Well, here. I'm going to message you really quick.
Super
Chronomancy.
secret squirrel stuff.
Secret squirrel.
I can't find my notes that you sent me.
That's how
Oh,
secret they are, huh?
hold on. Hold on. I forget his name too.
I bet it's Dexter, and he's got a laboratory.
No.
Dexter's Lab.
Or he's gonna dump things and be named the Bay Harbor Butcher.
Or that.
Mm-hmm.
Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you guys are doing note things, I'm just gonna go to Yoder and go, so you said you're familiar with this other entity, deity. What do we know?
Well,
A lot of notes.
I am, if you recall, I am a cleric of Iyun.
Turn it up, Nate.
Oh, now I'm too quiet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gotta go back into my settings.
I can adjust everything on my end, so
I've got you full, but you're still kind of quiet. I don't know if it's your mic
Yeah, I
placement
turned
or.
it down because it was saying it's too loud, but maybe I
Gotcha.
overdid it.
There you go. That's good.
Oh, okay. So if you recall, I do follow in IU. I'm an agent of her will, one might say. And she's in trouble. She's fighting this war with another god. I forget their name, but and things aren't looking super hot. So
as a tentacle daddy's brother.
I don't remember exactly. It's kind of hazy. I'm kind of halfway between there and here sometimes. Um, if that makes any sense. Uh, but
I too sometimes close my eyes and imagine another place. It has all these whirring gizmos and electric sparks and screens.
I'd see a therapist about that maybe. uh, but yeah, there might be some big bad guys threatening things, the very stability of existence.
Not this again.
Um, and actually, uh, I don't remember what everyone saw when I had my like encounter with
Oh,
Ayu,
I didn't know that.
You
but
did that.
You're right. I did, but I forgot.
I do have a thing that might help Ayun, or at least I think it's the thing that would help Ayun. And I pull out the gem. I think everyone was there when I forget who gave it. I think Rom gave it to me.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Flame Rom or Rom X.
Forget where I got this now, but it's the Gemma 3 prayers. It's just like this thing. I think I was sent to give this thing to Ayun.
Sent by whom or what?
Or she sent me to find it.
So a fetch quest, I'm familiar.
Yeah. But now, yeah, sounds like things are getting a little more serious.
If she's on a different plane or not in a set spot, how are you supposed to give it to her?
Great question.
I mean, this is
Yeah,
typical hero stuff, you know? You get sent on a quest by some sort of godlike creature, and eventually you end up somewhere where you're like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Then you get your ass whipped, and then all of a sudden you get sent or transported to wherever these godlike creatures are, and that's how it works, you know? You
So
just gotta get your ass whipped.
I'm gonna shapeshift my face back to my normal shapeshifter self and look over at Rob and go, do I look like the hero? I've been on a solo assassin mission for most of my entire life. I'm not this hero being communicated to by deities.
Look, that sounds like what you just did. I don't.
Grim walks in and says, some people think that when you're a hero, you wake up a hero, you eat breakfast a hero, you take a shit a hero. But really, to be a hero takes just those few moments.
Grim, some
Of
people
pooping?
think.
Cat like jaw drops and was like, "That was the most prolific thing I think you've ever said, Grim. There's hope for you yet."
Wow, you must have read that one off the back somewhere.
You got it from a fortune cookie.
Came to me in a dream.
Oh,
Were
It
you
was a
eating a
giant metal
fortune cookie?
man.